The Council of the Galaxy had never spoken to a species like this before. It was not arrogance. It was confidence. Their fleet spanned hundreds of star systems. Their technology was centuries ahead of anything humanity had seen, and their rule over the galaxy had been unchallenged for eons. They were sure that no species could oppose them. Yet for some reason these humans were different. In the central command of Earth's United Space Coalition, alarms blared as a massive communication array activated. It was the first direct message from the Galactic Council. Every world with a human colony tuned in, from the frozen plains of New Siberia to the thriving orbital cities around Kepler 452b. The holographic figure of the Council's representative shimmered into view. It was a creature unlike anything humans had ever imagined. Tall, with limbs that bent in impossible directions, eyes that glowed like molten silver, and a voice that seemed to echo inside one's mind rather than through sound. "Humans of the Sol system and your scattered colonies," it said, "the galaxy has observed your growth. You have prospered beyond your planetary limits, yet your independence cannot be tolerated. You are hereby commanded to surrender all colonies, submit to the authority of the Galactic Council, and cease all autonomous expansion. Failure to comply will result in total destruction." The message repeated in every language known to humanity. Even the most remote colonies received the ultimatum. In every city, every research station, every orbital fortress, humans paused. There was a silence that stretched across the stars, as if the entire species was holding its breath. At the command center in Earth's capital orbit, Counselor Marcus Delane stared at the glowing figure. His hands trembled slightly, though his voice was steady. This is it. This is what we feared, and yet we cannot surrender. We cannot allow them to dictate our future." In the adjacent room, Admiral Kara Soren's fingers tapped impatiently on the console. "We don't have the fleets they have. Their warships are enormous. If they attack, they will destroy every human colony in weeks. Even our fastest ships could not match them in direct combat." A young engineer named Elian Wu, only 27, spoke up from the corner. "Maybe that's exactly why we shouldn't surrender. They've never seen humans fight on our terms. They don't understand how we adapt, how we improvise. We're small, but we're unpredictable." Marcus nodded slowly. "Elian's right. Every civilization they've ruled followed patterns, obeyed commands. But humans, we have something different. Courage, ingenuity, and a stubborn refusal to bow to any power, no matter how strong." Across the colonies, debates raged. Some leaders feared annihilation and argued for surrender, but the overwhelming majority of humans, from scientists to farmers, engineers to soldiers, united in a simple message: we will not bow. And so, humanity sent back their reply. It was brief but firm. "We reject your ultimatum. Humanity will remain independent. We will defend our colonies, our people, and our freedom." The Council's representative paused, its silver eyes narrowing. Then it vanished, leaving only a lingering echo in the minds of those watching. "Prepare to witness the end of your era." The words hung in the air, but humans refused to tremble. Across the colonies, preparations began. Starports buzzed with activity. Engineers ran simulations late into the night, calculating every possibility for defense. Soldiers trained relentlessly, not just for the hope of survival, but for the certainty that humanity would fight, not with surrender, but with strategy, courage, and ingenuity. On the outer rim, on the mining world of Virelia, young pilot Captain Arya Valen checked her ship's systems. The sleek fighter gleamed under the artificial sun of the planet. Her team, a small but skilled squadron, prepared for missions no one yet fully understood. They had never faced a true galactic army before, yet Arya felt an undeniable thrill. "We might be outnumbered," she said to her co-pilot Leon. "We might be weaker, but they don't know what we can do. They've never fought humans who refuse to lose." Leon smiled faintly, though his eyes were tense. "Let's just hope that courage is enough." Meanwhile, on Earth, the greatest scientific minds gathered in secret. They were working on projects that the Council could not have anticipated. Humans had always relied on imagination as much as technology. If brute strength was insufficient, humans would turn innovation into their weapon. Prototype engines, experimental shields, and unpredictable drones moved quietly through the labs and hangars, hidden from alien sensors. Even as humans prepared, the Council moved. Small fleets of alien warships began appearing near human space, testing defenses, scanning planets, and probing weak points. Each appearance sent shivers across the colonies. Communications intercepted strange energy patterns and signals, but instead of fear, humans reacted with determination. Ambushes were planned. Defensive formations were designed. Every disadvantage became a challenge to be overcome. In the heart of the United Space Coalition's command, Marcus addressed the assembly of world leaders. "We are facing a force that could wipe us out in days. And yet, we will not surrender. Why? Because we are human. Our strength is not in numbers or technology alone. Our strength is in our mind, our will, and our ability to face the impossible and survive." He paused, letting the words sink in. "We may be small in the galaxy's eyes, but we are mighty in our own. And if the Council believes they can intimidate us, they have not yet learned the first lesson. Humanity never gives up." Across distant colonies, ordinary humans were doing extraordinary things. Farmers on frontier planets volunteered to convert their work machines into emergency defense units. Engineers on orbital stations adapted mining lasers into makeshift weapons capable of firing in space combat. Students on research outposts began analyzing alien transmissions, discovering patterns no one had seen before. Every human, in their own way, contributed to a growing network of resistance. As days turned into weeks, the Council's fleets drew closer. Shadows of massive alien ships glimmered in the distance, scanning, probing, testing. Humans could see the size, the power, and the order of their enemy. Yet in the eyes of every soldier, every engineer, every pilot, there was something else. Unshakable resolve. In a quiet corner of Earth's orbital command, young Elian Wu stared at the holographic map of the approaching fleets. "They think they can scare us," he murmured. "They don't know humans. They've never faced fear used as fuel. They don't know courage can be stronger than steel." Captain Arya Valen, watching from a distant starbase, clenched her fists. "They'll learn soon enough. And when they do, they'll see why humans are not just survivors. We are creators, warriors, and dreamers, and we fight for something bigger than ourselves: freedom." And so the galaxy watched, waiting to see the fate of humanity. A species small and underestimated, armed with determination, ingenuity, and courage, had rejected the ultimate ultimatum. Across the stars, humans prepared for what many believed would be the end. But no one could foresee the storm that was about to rise, the storm that would soon be called the Dreadnoughts. For now, humanity waited, united. Fear was present, yes, but it was tempered with hope and resolve. Ships were fueled, weapons prepared, strategies refined. The Council had warned them. "This is the end of your era." Humans, as always, were ready to prove that the galaxy had it wrong. The first alien reconnaissance fleets appeared like dark shadows over human space. They moved silently, their massive ships gliding through the void, scanning every planet, every colony, every station. They were careful, calculating, and terrifyingly precise. Yet humans did not panic. Humans prepared. In the command hub orbiting Earth, Admiral Kara Soren stared at the holographic map. Tiny blips represented human ships scattered across the colonies. Larger, darker blips, the alien scouts, moved in formations that seemed impossible to anticipate. "They're probing us," Kara said, her voice steady but tense. "They want to see how we respond. They think they can find our weakness. We need to act fast." Captain Arya Valen's squadron had been on alert for days. Her small fleet of 12 fighters darted through the orbital lanes of the Mars defense perimeter, engines glowing like fireflies against the blackness of space. Sensors picked up the approach of the alien probes. "They're coming," Arya whispered into her comm. "Remember, no heroics. Stick to the plan." But even as she spoke, she knew the plan had limits. Humans had never fought an enemy like this before. The alien ships were faster, more heavily armed, and equipped with shields that could absorb energy far beyond anything human engineers had built. Conventional tactics would not work. Humans had to improvise. In the engineering bay of Mars Station 7, Elian Wu and his team worked frantically. Small drones buzzed across the room, carrying experimental energy modules. Laser cannons were being modified, shields recalibrated, and computers reprogrammed to anticipate alien movements. "We don't just need firepower," Elian said, addressing his team. "We need unpredictability. Every maneuver they expect, we change it. Every attack they plan, we turn it back on them. They cannot win if they cannot understand us." Outside, in the cold darkness of space, the alien scouts reached the outer perimeter. They fired probing energy pulses at the human defensive satellites. The explosions lit the void with brilliant flashes, but the satellites held. Humans had designed them not only to detect attacks but to confuse and mislead the enemy. Captain Arya led her fighters through the gaps in the alien formation, weaving between massive alien cruisers. The human ships were small and fast, unlike the alien vessels designed for brute force. Arya's squadron darted in unpredictable patterns, creating false signatures on the alien sensors. "This is it," Arya said. "Hit them where it hurts." The humans had learned something critical. Aliens relied heavily on calculations, expecting every move to follow logic. Humans were anything but predictable. Using a combination of feints, decoy drones, and rapid maneuvers, the squadron struck at weak points in the alien formation. They did not destroy a single cruiser, but they created chaos. Sensors overloaded, formations broke, and alien ships collided with one another in confusion. At the command hub, Admiral Kara watched the battle unfold. She clenched her fists. "They're learning too fast," she muttered. "They're fast, smart, and fearless." Across the colonies, ordinary humans contributed in ways the Council could not imagine. On the agricultural planet of Theron 4, farmers modified mining rigs into orbital defense platforms. On the industrial world of Casperia, engineers adapted transport ships into fast attack vessels. Students and scientists analyzed alien signals, discovering patterns that allowed human fleets to anticipate movements and avoid attacks. Even the civilians were ready to help. Volunteers converted cargo ships into mobile repair stations. Children in orbital schools watched the broadcasts of fleet maneuvers, learning strategies that would guide them if the war came closer. Humanity had turned preparation into a collective effort, something no alien species had experienced before. Captain Arya's squadron continued their attack, moving in precise yet unpredictable bursts. They targeted the alien sensors, the energy conduits, and the communication arrays. It was a risky tactic. A single mistake could destroy the entire squadron, but humans thrived on risk. Creativity and bravery gave them an advantage that numbers could not match. In the middle of the battle, Arya detected a massive energy buildup in one of the alien ships. "Leon, do you see that?" she said. "That's their weapon charging. If it fires, it will wipe out half the perimeter. Then we have to stop it," Leon replied. "I can take the lead on a diversion. You hit the energy core from behind." The two executed the maneuver flawlessly. Leon led a small group of decoys, drawing the alien fire away, while Arya and her wing swooped in. Human lasers struck the alien energy core with precision. It exploded in a controlled cascade, damaging the alien ship but keeping it from firing. The human squadron barely escaped the blast, adrenaline pumping, hearts racing, but victorious. At the command hub, cheers erupted. Engineers and strategists high-fived each other, knowing that even a small victory against the Council's scouts was proof that humans could fight back. Yet the Council was not idle. Messages of frustration and anger pulsed through the galactic network. "They are learning too quickly. They are unpredictable. We must prepare a larger response." Marcus Delane, watching the reports, knew the stakes were higher than ever. "They are testing us," he said. "But we've also learned something. Humans adapt. They innovate. They refuse to be bound by rules. If the Council underestimates that, it could cost them dearly." In the colonies, morale soared. Despite the overwhelming threat, humans discovered a sense of unity they had never known before. Farmers, engineers, soldiers, and civilians all understood one truth. Survival depended not just on technology or numbers, but on collaboration, creativity, and courage. Elian Wu worked late into the night, adjusting calculations for the next engagement. "They think they've seen what humans can do," he muttered. "But they've only seen a fraction. We're just beginning." On Arya's ship, she looked out into the darkness of space. Stars twinkled, distant and indifferent, yet the void itself seemed alive with possibility. She whispered, "We may be small, but we are fearless. We are human, and no one can take that away." Weeks passed, and alien scouts continued to probe. Each encounter revealed the Council's frustration. Human ingenuity seemed limitless. Every strategy the aliens tried to predict failed. Every calculation was countered by an unpredictable human solution. The colonies began developing hidden reserves of advanced technology. Massive projects, previously secret, started to emerge. Experimental shield generators, drone swarms, and prototype engines were deployed across strategic locations. The Council could see the efforts but could not understand the full scope of human preparation. In a small remote command station on Kepler 452b, scientists detected a strange pattern. Alien signals suggested that the Council was sending reconnaissance reports back to a larger fleet, gathering somewhere far beyond human sensor range. They were planning something massive. Admiral Kara reviewed the reports with Marcus. They're not just testing us anymore. They're preparing for a full assault, and we have to be ready. Marcus nodded gravely. Then we prepare. Every colony, every ship, every human must be ready. We've shown them what humans can do with courage and ingenuity. Soon they will see what humans can do when they fight for survival. Across the galaxy, the shadow of the Council's fleets stretched longer, darker, more threatening. But humans did not shrink. They adapted, they created, they fought. Every victory, small or large, strengthened the human spirit. Captain Arya Valen, standing on the bridge of her ship, watched the alien shadows retreat for the first time. She allowed herself a rare smile. They've learned something today, she said quietly. They've learned that humans never give up, never surrender, and never stop fighting. The Council, observing from far beyond, did not yet understand the full scope of humanity. They had underestimated the unpredictable, adaptive, and fearless nature of the human race. And in their underestimation lay the first seeds of their failure. For humans, the first strikes of the alien reconnaissance fleets were only the beginning. They had survived the shadows. They had adapted, learned, and grown stronger. And somewhere deep in the uncharted reaches of space, a new force was being prepared, a force that would change the galaxy forever. The Dreadnoughts were coming. But for now, humans had won the first battle. They had proved that courage, creativity, and the will to survive could challenge even the most advanced fleets in the galaxy, and they were ready to fight again, stronger, smarter, and united. The calm that followed humanity's first encounters with the alien reconnaissance fleets did not last. Reports arrived from the outer colonies of massive energy surges deep in uncharted space. The Council had been preparing something larger, something hidden beyond the edge of human sensors. In Earth's command hub, Marcus Delane leaned over a holographic star map. Energy readings off the charts, he said, tapping the display. Whatever's out there, it's enormous. And it's coming this way. Captain Arya Valen sat in the pilot's seat, her fingers drumming on the console. How big? She asked. Too big for anything we've seen, Marcus replied. It doesn't match the size of their scouting fleets. This is something new. Elian Wu, standing nearby with a portable sensor tablet, frowned. I've run simulations. Nothing from the Council should be able to operate at that scale. Unless someone has been hiding technology, and it's human. The room went silent. The truth slowly sank in. For decades, secret programs had been running across Earth and the colonies, developing ships far beyond conventional designs. Massive Dreadnought-class warships, capable of independent operation and equipped with advanced shields and weapons, were ready, but their existence had been kept hidden from the Council. They're real, Arya whispered. The Dreadnoughts. The legends are true. And then the first signs appeared in the darkness. Shadows deeper than the void itself glimmered in space. Slowly, deliberately, massive vessels emerged. The Dreadnoughts. Unlike any ship the galaxy had ever seen, they were enormous yet streamlined, bristling with energy emitters, advanced shields, and weaponry designed to operate in ways the Council had never imagined. In the Council's distant observation chambers, alarms blared. Impossible, one alien commander hissed. How could humanity build this? They are not supposed to have technology at this level. Meanwhile, humans across the colonies watched in awe. These were not just warships, they were symbols. Symbols of ingenuity, preparation, and defiance. Each dreadnought represented decades of hidden research, combined with human creativity and determination. Captain Arya Valen's squadron was the first to meet them. Look at them, she said over the comm, her voice steady but filled with wonder. We've waited for this moment our whole lives. Let's make it count. The first human fleets deployed alongside the dreadnoughts. Unlike the Council's predictable formations, human fleets moved with flexibility, weaving between the massive dreadnoughts and smaller fighters. The contrast was striking. Humans small but fast, dreadnoughts massive yet precise, all working as a single force. The alien scouts, sensing the change, fired their energy weapons. But for the first time, humans did not recoil. The Dreadnoughts' shields absorbed the blasts effortlessly, reflecting energy in controlled pulses that disabled several alien cruisers without destroying them. The Council's technology had never encountered such adaptability. "Target their formation," an alien commander shouted. "Destroy the human ships before they reach full deployment." But humans had anticipated this. Using coordinated maneuvers, Arya's squadron and the Dreadnoughts forced the alien cruisers into traps. Mines disguised as debris, decoy drones, and sudden bursts of light created chaos. The Council's ships collided, shields overloaded, and their attack faltered. On Earth, Marcus Delane watched the battle unfold. "They've underestimated us for the last time," he said, pride and relief in his voice. "Humans fight with courage, creativity, and the will to survive, and now they fight with power the Council never imagined." Elian Wu monitored the energy flows in the Dreadnoughts' reactors. "Each ship is semi-autonomous," he explained. "They communicate through a quantum network. They can operate alone but act as one. We've created a force the Council cannot predict." Arya's fighter darted between the massive Dreadnoughts, coordinating attacks with precision. "Focus fire on the cruisers at the front," she ordered. "We need to break their line before reinforcements arrive." The alien fleet tried to regroup, forming a defensive circle. Their weapons fired in coordinated volleys, but each attack was met with a counter from the Dreadnoughts. Lasers, missiles, and energy pulses were blocked, redirected, or absorbed. Human pilots struck where the enemy was weakest, exploiting gaps in formations that only humans could see. The Council was stunned. Every simulation they had run predicted human fleets would collapse in hours. But this was not a collapse, it was a coordinated strike. Humans and Dreadnoughts worked together seamlessly, combining unpredictability with raw power. On the bridge of her Dreadnought, Captain Arya observed the alien flagship, massive and imposing. "It's time," she whispered. "Let's show them what humans can really do." She coordinated with other Dreadnought captains, synchronizing energy pulses to overload the flagship's shields. At the same time, human fighter squadrons attacked from unexpected angles, distracting the enemy and forcing them to split attention. The flagship shuddered under the assault. Its energy shields flickered, unable to handle the combined pressure. Then in a brilliant flash, a controlled cascade from the Dreadnoughts disabled the flagship's weapon systems, leaving it defenseless. In the Council's observation chambers, shock rippled through the ranks. "Impossible," one alien shouted. "They are not only surviving, they are winning." Across human space, celebration was tempered with caution. The Dreadnoughts had turned the tide, but the Council's main fleet was still beyond sensor range and its full strength remained unknown. Humans had achieved victory in this first encounter, but the real battle was only beginning. Marcus Delane addressed the colonies. "Today, humans have proven that courage and innovation can overcome even the greatest threats. But we cannot be complacent. The Council will retaliate. We must continue to prepare, continue to fight, and continue to protect our people." Elian Wu smiled, a mixture of pride and determination. "They've seen our strength now," he said, "and they will learn that humans are not just survivors. We are creators, fighters, and defenders of our freedom." Captain Arya Valen's squadron returned to base, exhausted but exhilarated. "The Dreadnoughts have changed everything," she told Lian. "The Council expected fear, hesitation, and surrender. They got defiance, strategy, and power beyond imagination." Lian nodded. "And they've only seen the beginning." In the weeks that followed, humans spread the presence of the Dreadnoughts across strategic locations. Colonies that had once felt vulnerable now had hope. Engineers, scientists, and pilots worked together to refine the ship's systems, enhance weapons, and expand the network of human fleets. Even ordinary civilians felt the impact. Children in orbital schools studied the Dreadnoughts as symbols of human resilience. Farmers and workers built supply ships and defensive platforms. Humanity had transformed from a species under threat to a species united, ready to face any challenge. The Council, observing from afar, realized their previous calculations had been flawed. Humans were not predictable, not weak, and not easily subdued. They had underestimated the creativity, courage, and determination of a species that refused to bow. And somewhere beyond human sensors, the Council began to assemble its main fleet, a force intended to crush humanity once and for all. But the arrival of the Dreadnoughts had already changed the game. Humans had a secret advantage, a hidden power that could rival even the mightiest alien fleets. Captain Arya Valen, looking out at the stars from the bridge of her dreadnought, felt a mixture of pride and anticipation. "This is only the beginning," she said quietly. "They've seen what we can do now. Soon, they will understand that humanity fights for more than survival. We fight for freedom, for our future, and for each other." The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. Now, the rules were changing. The dreadnoughts were a statement, a warning, and a promise. Humanity would not bow. Humanity would not surrender. And when the Council sent its full fleet, humans would be ready. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer in anticipation. The age of the dreadnoughts had begun, and with it a new chapter in humanity's story. A story of courage, ingenuity, and the unbreakable human spirit. The first encounters with alien scouts had been warnings. The arrival of the dreadnoughts had shown humans' hidden strength. But nothing could have fully prepared them for the day the Council sent its main armada. Across human space, massive energy signatures appeared on long-range sensors. The Council's fleet was enormous. Thousands of ships, from massive warships to smaller attack vessels, moving in perfect formations. Their intent was clear: total destruction. On Earth's command hub, Admiral Kara Soren and Marcus Delane watched the fleet approach. "They've brought everything," Kara said, her voice tight. "If they hit all at once, some of our colonies could be wiped out before we even react." Marcus nodded. "But they do not understand humans yet. They've seen courage and ingenuity. Now they will see our strength when we fight together." Captain Arya Valen and her squadron prepared for deployment. Her small fighter group would operate alongside the massive dreadnoughts, coordinating attacks and exploiting enemy weaknesses. Every pilot knew the risk, every human knew the odds, but none hesitated. In the outer rim of human space, the Council's fleet advanced, weapons gleaming and shields radiating power. As they approached, humans launched coordinated strikes. Small human fleets and dreadnoughts moved in intricate patterns, testing the enemy while avoiding direct engagement. "We need to draw them into traps," Arya said to Leon over comms. "Hit where it hurts, retreat, lure them into our zones." The first engagement began near the asteroid belt of Vega 4. Human drones disguised as debris created false targets. Alien cruisers fired at them, only to find themselves caught in traps laid by dreadnoughts and fighter squadrons. Massive energy pulses disabled engines and shields of several enemy ships. In orbit over Mars, Elian Wu monitored the battle with a mixture of anxiety and excitement. "They can't predict our moves," he said. "Every feint, every diversion, it works. We're forcing them to react to us, not the other way around." The alien fleet tried to maintain cohesion, but human tactics were unlike anything they had encountered. Dreadnoughts used synchronized pulses to disable weapon systems, while smaller human fighters darted in to exploit openings. The Council's ships were powerful, but their rigid coordination became a weakness against human unpredictability. Captain Arya led her squadron through the chaos, weaving between massive alien cruisers. "Focus fire on the ships trying to flank us," she ordered. "We can break their lines if we keep them off balance." Meanwhile, in the command hub, Marcus Delane coordinated human fleets across multiple sectors. "Divide and conquer," he said. "We may be outnumbered, but they underestimate our coordination. Every fleet, every colony contributes to the defense. This is humanity's strength." The first major collision occurred near the orbit of Terra Nova. A dreadnought unleashed a pulse that disabled a cluster of alien cruisers' shields. Human fighters darted in, firing concentrated bursts to cripple engines and weapons. Explosions lit the void, painting the darkness with fire and energy. On the Council's flagship, confusion spread. Calculations failed to predict human responses. Their centuries of strategy and dominance could not account for a species that adapted, improvised, and refused to yield. Alien commanders shouted orders, but humans were always one step ahead. Captain Arya's squadron found themselves facing an enormous alien dreadnought, a ship far larger than anything humans had yet engaged. "We can't take it head-on," she said. "We need to hit the weak points. Engines first, then shields." Leon nodded, piloting their fighter through a narrow gap. "I'll draw their attention. You hit the critical systems. The maneuver was dangerous." Alien weapons targeted them immediately, energy beams cutting through space with deadly precision. But human piloting was unmatched. With coordinated attacks, they struck the alien ship's engines and weapons control systems. Sparks flew, shields flickered, and the massive vessel slowed, vulnerable for the first time. Meanwhile, other human forces took advantage of the disruption. Dreadnoughts launched focused energy pulses, disabling nearby cruisers and creating gaps for fighters to exploit. Across the battlefield, humans worked as one mind, each pilot, each ship, each drone contributing to a complex web of strategy and offense. In a quieter sector, Elian Wu watched energy flows and data streams. "The Council's fleet is enormous," he said. "But humans are unpredictable. Their coordination makes them unstoppable in this moment. If we maintain this, we can force them to retreat." On Arya's dreadnought, she saw a message flash from the command hub. "Reinforcements are en route. The Council cannot anticipate human tactics. Focus on the flagship, disable it first." She smiled grimly. "It's time," she whispered to her squadron. They split into groups, each taking a specific task. Some distracted enemy fire, others targeted shields, while Arya herself led the assault on the flagship's weapon systems. The flagship shuddered as dreadnought pulses struck it repeatedly. Human fighters darted in, firing with precision at engines and energy conduits. Sparks and plasma lit the void as the massive vessel's weapons fell silent. For the first time, the Council's flagship was vulnerable. Across the battlefield, human forces exploited the chaos. Alien formations broke apart under relentless pressure. Smaller ships were isolated. Dreadnoughts neutralized heavy cruisers, and fighter squadrons targeted weak points. Each human maneuver was calculated yet unpredictable, turning the alien armada into a scattered, disorganized mass. Marcus Delane observed the progress from Earth. "They've learned the truth," he said quietly. "Humans are not just fighters. We are creators, strategists, and innovators. Every battle shows them that technology alone cannot overcome courage and ingenuity." Captain Arya and her squadron pressed the attack, focusing on the now vulnerable flagship. Using coordinated strikes and feints, they disabled weapons arrays, engine systems, and communication hubs. Sparks and explosions lit the massive vessel as humans claimed a decisive victory in the first major engagement. Even as the flagship faltered, humans did not grow complacent. Every dreadnought and fighter was alert, ready for counterattacks. Across the colonies, people watched broadcasts of the battle, inspired by the courage and skill displayed. Farmers, engineers, and students knew that humanity was fighting as one, a united force that refused to surrender. The Council, observing from afar, realized their calculations had failed. Humans had outmaneuvered, outsmarted, and outlasted them. Their fleets were powerful, but humans were unpredictable. They adapted. They innovated. They refused to bow. In orbit over Kepler 452b, Elian Wu allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. "We've shown them what humans are capable of," he said. "But the fight isn't over. The Council will regroup. They'll bring more ships, more weapons. We have to be ready." Captain Arya looked out from the bridge of her dreadnought, watching the alien ships retreat into the darkness. "They've learned a lesson today," she said. "Humans fight with courage, ingenuity, and heart, and they will never underestimate us again." The battle for the stars had begun in earnest. Humans had survived overwhelming odds, turning a desperate defense into a stunning victory. Across the colonies, the human spirit burned brighter than ever. Ships, stations, and people prepared for the next wave, knowing that the Council would return, but confident in their ability to face it. Somewhere deep in space, the Council assembled new fleets, their arrogance shaken but not broken. They had seen the dreadnoughts, the unpredictable human tactics, and the courage of an entire species united. Yet they still believed their technology would prevail. They did not yet realize that humanity's greatest strength was not technology alone. It was the will to survive, the creativity to overcome impossible odds, and the unity of an entire species fighting for freedom. Captain Arya Valen and her squadron returned to base, weary but triumphant. "The Council will come again," she said to Leon, "and when they do, they'll see that humans are not just survivors. We are warriors, strategists, and a force they cannot destroy." The stars themselves seemed to shimmer in response, as if acknowledging the courage, determination, and ingenuity of a species that refused to bow. The battle for the stars had only begun, and humans had already proven that the galaxy had underestimated them. The age of the dreadnoughts and the unyielding human spirit had begun. The galaxy watched in awe as the human fleets, led by the mighty Dreadnoughts, stood defiant before the Council's armada. The first battles had been victories of courage and ingenuity, but the main confrontation had only just begun. On the bridge of the flagship Liberty, Captain Arya Valen observed the Council's remaining forces gathering beyond the veil of distant stars. Her squadron of fighters and the Dreadnoughts formed a protective formation around the key human colonies. She felt the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. Every human life in the colonies, every ship, every station depended on their next moves. Admiral Kara Soren approached, her expression calm but firm. "We've shown them what we can do," she said, "but they are not finished. Their main fleet is larger than any we've encountered. They will test every limit we have." Marcus Delane, standing nearby, spoke quietly. "And yet they have already underestimated us. Time and again, humans have proven that courage, creativity, and unity cannot be predicted or destroyed." Elian Wu tapped his console. "The Council has deployed its flagship again, but it's damaged. Their smaller vessels are scattered. If we push strategically, we can force negotiations instead of annihilation." Arya nodded. "Then we strike with precision, not recklessness. Every move must count." The Dreadnoughts surged forward, their massive hulls gleaming in the void. Fighters darted between them like swarming fireflies, each pilot striking at weak points in alien formations. The Council's fleet fired in response, energy beams and missiles filling the space between stars, but the Dreadnought shields held, absorbing blows that would have obliterated ordinary ships. Human strategy was unlike anything the Council had faced. While alien fleets relied on overwhelming firepower and rigid formations, humans combined unpredictability, speed, and ingenuity. Fighters acted independently yet as part of a whole, while Dreadnoughts created zones of control, forcing the enemy to adapt constantly. Captain Arya led her squadron in a daring maneuver, diving between massive alien ships to strike at energy conduits. Lian followed closely, drawing enemy fire and protecting weaker fighters. Sparks and plasma flared across the void as alien shields faltered under precise human attacks. In the command hub on Earth, Marcus monitored every sector. "They've broken their own formations again," he observed. "Their flagship is exposed. This is the opportunity we've been waiting for." The Dreadnoughts coordinated a synchronized strike. Energy pulses from multiple ships targeted the flagship's shields, gradually weakening them while fighter squadrons disabled engines and weapons arrays. The alien flagship shuddered under the assault, unable to respond effectively. Captain Arya felt a surge of determination. "This is it," she said. "Hit the core systems. Disable their command. Show them humans are not to be underestimated." With precise calculations, the Dreadnought struck the heart of the flagship. Massive explosions rocked the vessel, its weapons offline, engines crippled, communications cut. For the first time, the Council's Central Command was powerless before humanity. Across the battlefield, alien commanders shouted orders, but their voices carried no power. Their fleet had lost cohesion, smaller vessels retreated, unable to coordinate, and larger ships fell under relentless human assault. Every human maneuver was deliberate, exploiting every weakness. In the midst of the chaos, Arya's squadron circled the crippled flagship. "This is our chance," she said. "We don't destroy them. We force them to see our strength. We make them negotiate." Elian Wu, monitoring energy patterns, nodded. "We've proven we can survive their fleet. Now we prove that humanity can win without total destruction. They must respect us." Human forces pressed their advantage without annihilating the Council's fleet. Precision strikes and strategic maneuvers disabled weapons, shields, and engines but avoided unnecessary destruction. The message was clear. Humanity was strong, united, and in control, but not cruel. In the Council's observation chambers, tension and shock filled the air. Their flagship was crippled, their formations broken, and yet the humans had not destroyed them entirely. One alien elder, silver eyes glowing, finally spoke. "They are different. They fight not for conquest but for survival and unity. We have miscalculated entirely." Back on the bridge of the Liberty, Arya received a transmission from the alien flagship. "Human command," the voice echoed. "We request immediate negotiation. We acknowledge your strength. Further resistance will serve no purpose." Marcus Delane stepped forward. "Prepare to receive their delegates," he said. "We will negotiate on our terms. We have shown them humans are not to be conquered lightly." The negotiations were tense. Across the galaxy, humans and alien representatives met in neutral space. The Council, humbled and cautious, acknowledged humanity's independence. The Dreadnoughts, symbols of human innovation and unity, had shifted the balance of power. Humans did not celebrate with arrogance. Instead, Marcus addressed the colonies through every communication channel. Today, humanity has proven that courage, intelligence, and unity are as powerful as any weapon. We have defended our freedom without surrendering our values. Let this victory remind us that we are capable of extraordinary things when we work together. Captain Aria Valen and her squadron returned to Earth orbit, greeted as heroes. Pilots, engineers, and civilians cheered, not just for the victory but for the demonstration of humanity's resilience. Across the colonies, celebrations erupted, yet the people remained vigilant. Elian Wu, standing in the engineering bay, observed the dreadnoughts gleaming in orbit. "These ships are more than weapons," he said. "They represent the ingenuity, determination, and unity of every human being. They remind the galaxy that we are not to be underestimated." Even as the Council retreated, humans knew that peace was fragile. The universe was vast, full of civilizations and challenges beyond imagination. But humanity had learned a vital lesson. Fear would not define them, and courage and creativity could turn the tide of even the most overwhelming odds. Captain Aria Valen looked out into the stars, her thoughts focused on the future. "We've won this battle," she said quietly to Leon, "but there will be others. And when they come, the galaxy will see that humanity fights not just to survive, but to thrive. We fight for freedom, for hope, and for each other." Leon smiled. "And they will remember our strength. They will remember the dreadnoughts. But most importantly, they will remember the human spirit." Across the colonies, humans worked to rebuild and strengthen their defenses. The dreadnoughts became symbols of hope and unity, their presence reminding every human that the impossible could be achieved through courage, intelligence, and cooperation. The Council, now humbled, agreed to terms that respected human sovereignty. Colonies remained free, technology was shared only on agreed terms, and humans gained recognition as a powerful and respected species in the galaxy. Even as negotiations concluded, the story of the dreadnoughts spread throughout the stars. Other civilizations, long indifferent or dismissive of humanity, now regarded them with respect and caution. Humans had proven that they were not just survivors, they were innovators, warriors, and diplomats, capable of defending their freedom against impossible odds. Marcus Delane addressed the colonies one final time. "The galaxy has learned that humans will not bow. We have protected our people, our colonies, and our way of life. Let this victory inspire us to continue exploring, learning, and growing. Humanity has faced the greatest threat and emerged stronger, and we will continue to rise." Captain Aria Valen watched the stars from her dreadnought, feeling a mixture of pride, relief, and anticipation. The Council had been forced to acknowledge human strength, but the universe remained vast and full of challenges. Yet for the first time, humans truly knew their place among the stars, not as victims or underdogs, but as equals, worthy of respect and capable of shaping their destiny. And so, humanity's legend grew. The dreadnoughts became a symbol of courage and unity. Humans had survived the ultimatum, rejected tyranny, and proven that a species bound by intelligence, determination, and spirit could face the impossible and prevail. The Council had learned a lesson they would never forget. Humans do not surrender. Humans do not fear the unknown, and when humanity stands together, no force in the galaxy, no matter how powerful, can crush their will. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter over human space. For humanity, the age of the dreadnoughts had begun. For the galaxy, a new era had dawned. An era in which humans would not only survive but thrive, inspiring awe, respect, and perhaps a little fear in every corner of the cosmos. And in the hearts of every human, one truth shone brighter than any star. They had proven that freedom, courage, and ingenuity were more powerful than any fleet, weapon, or empire. Humanity had faced the impossible and won,